You're gonna die for what you did to my sister. Yeah!
The narrative takes a nostalgic turn as Eugene and Tucker indulge in childhood games like The Floor is Lava, reliving their past by playing at home and sneaking into Eugene's older brother's room in search of a basketball card. Instead, they stumble upon an orange box containing basketball cards and a men's magazine, igniting Tucker's intense fascination. Fast forward 3 weeks and the duo finds themselves at a playground. While Eugene engages with a handheld game console, Tucker becomes absorbed in observing and daydreaming about girls. A decade later, Eugene is in a relationship with Cindy, whereas Tucker, still single, measures women against the magazine models he idolized. As high school seniors committed to abstinence, Eugene and Cindy are invited to Jefferson County Middle School to share the importance of waiting until marriage for intimacy. In their presentation, they recount a cautionary tale involving Eugene's older brother, Craig, who contracted syphilis from his chain-smoking girlfriend, resulting in her pregnancy and the birth of a mentally challenged child. This unfortunate incident led to the couple's breakup, with Craig having to leave school to juggle 2 jobs to fulfill child support obligations. The story serves as a stark reminder of the repercussions of early intimacy and imparts a cautionary lesson to the younger students. As part of the presentation, the speakers displayed graphic images of diseases inducing fear and distress among the elementary school children. That night, Eugene climbed a tree outside his girlfriend's window and communicated with her using his cell phone. When he suggested going to a party after prom, she redirected the conversation towards spending a special night together, pointing out that they had been dating for 2.5 years. Despite Eugene's initial hesitation and a reminder of their seminar presentation, his girlfriend insisted she was ready, emphasizing their special connection. Hearing this, the teen agreed to take their relationship to the next level. After prom night, Tucker comforted his nervous friend before the following day's prom, drawing on his extensive romantic experience with numerous women. A limo arrived to pick up Eugene, and he encountered Phil, Tucker's old friend who had left school accompanied by 2 women. Upon reaching Cindy's house, the teen exited the car and greeted his girlfriend and her parents. After prom, the couple proceeded to a party. As Cindy got the keys to the bedroom, Tucker observed Eugene, who was still nervous about taking things further with his girlfriend. To calm his friend's anxiety, the more experienced teen provided him with a few shots of whiskey. However, in his intoxicated state, Eugene mistakenly opened the door to the basement and tumbled down the stairs. In the midst of his stumble down the basement stairs, Eugene collided with a shelf, causing a toolbox to fall on his head and the entire shelf to collapse onto him. This unfortunate incident resulted in Eugene falling into a coma that lasted for 4 years. Eventually, Tucker used a baseball bat to jolt his friend awake. Despite Eugene regaining consciousness, he found himself unable to move due to extreme muscle atrophy. The doctor advised him to avoid strenuous situations to aid in his recovery. As Eugene caught up with his friend, he learned that his dad had moved to Florida and his girlfriend Cindy had relocated after graduation, leaving him feeling saddened. Shortly afterward, Tucker went to the supermarket where he worked as a photographer. While capturing a family portrait, he approached the mother, guiding her in posing. This behavior made the woman's husband uneasy, leading the manager to reprimand Tucker for making advances on a client. Later, Tucker received his men's magazine for the month. As he flipped through the pages, he was shocked to discover that Cindy was featured on one of them. Rushing back to the hospital, Tucker informed Eugene of his girlfriend's transformation. Despite the startling revelation, the photographer was eager to attend the magazine's anniversary bash in a Los Angeles mansion, expecting the presence of models. Hoping to reconnect Eugene with Cindy, he invited his friend to tag along. On that night, Tucker celebrated his anniversary with his girlfriend Candace in a luxurious restaurant where she gave him a smoking pipe, a gift he genuinely loved. Later, Tucker broke into the hospital to take Eugene, setting the stage for their journey to the magazine's anniversary bash in Los Angeles. During their escape, Tucker runs into his girlfriend in the hallway and she suddenly has wounds on her face, swearing that he will pay for the harm he caused her. After placing his friend in the front passenger seat, Tucker drives away, but behind the wheel, he starts groaning in pain. Concerned, Eugene asks what's wrong and Tucker explains that he had a problem with Candace. During their anniversary celebration at the restaurant, they became heavily intoxicated and left without paying the bill. Upon reaching home, Tucker surprised Candace with a pole in the living room. Initially disturbed, she eventually enjoyed it. However, during a moment of intimacy, Tucker turned on strobe lights, triggering an epileptic seizure in Candace and causing her to bite him. In panic, he grabbed a fork and stabbed her face to get her off him. Due to the incident, a vengeful Candace seeks the assistance of her sibling Rick, a fireman. He leads his fellow firefighters to pursue the duo on the road, attacking them with axes and a fire hose. Rick eventually jumps onto the car's hood, startling Tucker, who hits the brakes, sending the firemen tumbling off the road. Noticing their vehicle behind the fire trucks, Tucker changes direction, successfully evading his pursuers. On the road, Eugene asks how they will get to the mansion in Los Angeles, But instead of answering, Tucker turns on the radio and starts singing along to the music. He reveals that his old friend Phil has become a famous rapper. Eugene suggests contacting the rapper to help them enter the mansion. Meanwhile, the police begin printing wanted posters of Tucker. When the duo stops at a gas station, Eugene requests his friend to go to the store and purchase him some decent clothes. However, despite being aware that he's not fully recovered, Eugene attempts to get out of the car and pump gas, only to make a mess. Inside the store, Tucker gets distracted and sees the smoking pipe that Candace had gifted him on a magazine cover. Overwhelmed with emotion, he reaches out to his girlfriend through a payphone, only to hear her threatening voicemail. Upon returning to the car, Tucker finds his friend wet and nearly unclothed. Later, as the photographer hits the road, Eugene expresses gratitude for everything before drifting off to sleep. In his dream, he sees Cindy in the driver's seat wearing provocative clothing, blaming him for getting intoxicated instead of being romantic with her. During the night of the after-prom party, she asserts that it's his fault for her choice of career. Upon waking, Eugene is shocked to discover Tucker dozing off in the driver's seat. Because of this, he insists on booking a motel room for them to rest. Unfortunately, the photographer accidentally sets the place on fire while demonstrating to his friend how to use a smoking pipe to impress women at the mansion. Shortly after, firefighters led by Rick arrive and recognize Tucker, prompting them to give chase. In a panic, the duo quickly gets inside the car to escape. The following day on the road, Tucker realizes he only has $7 left, disappointing Eugene as he had to spend it on the toll fee. Meanwhile, a vengeful Candace visits the burnt motel and discovers her boyfriend's smoking pipe on the ground. Suddenly, she gets informed that Tucker and his friend have been spotted in Chicago. There, the duo finds themselves on the set of Phil, who's shooting a music video for his new song. After the filming, Tucker asks him to help them get inside the mansion. The rapper agrees and invites them to join him on his party bus heading to the location. While on the road, Eugene opens up to Phil, pondering how his girlfriend Cindy changed while he was in a coma. Meanwhile, Tucker is supposed to spend the night with one of his friend's entertainers, Crystal, but she gets thrown out of the bus open window when the vehicle passes over a hump. Further in their conversation, Phil shares that he has already been intimate with the models featured in the men's magazine, including Cindy, the cover girl for March. This revelation infuriates Eugene, and he hits the rapper. Following this, he accidentally defecates, leading the party bus owner to throw both him and Tucker out of the vehicle. In the middle of nowhere, the heartbroken man sobs. Realizing his girlfriend has spent romantic nights with another man, his friend tries to comfort him, emphasizing that the woman only slept with another guy and didn't have a relationship with them. Soon, a couple named Katya and Venka stop to make a deal with them. They propose letting Tucker drive to Los Angeles so they can have a good time in the backseat. The duo accepts, but the man behind the wheel gets distracted while watching them in the rearview mirror, causing him to hit a post every 5 minutes. Meanwhile, Candace continues to search for her boyfriend and receives a call informing her that he has been spotted heading to Los Angeles. The duo arrives at the mansion that night but is 20 minutes late to the party. However, they notice that people not on the guest list cannot enter. They try pretending to be with Katya and Venka, but it doesn't work and only the women get in. Soon, the fire trucks arrive, prompting the duo to hide. Seeing the firefighters quickly get inside, Tucker thinks of stealing their uniforms. Once the duo gets in, the promiscuous man removes the fireman's clothing, pointing out that women won't notice him if he keeps being in disguise. On the other hand, Eugene refuses to follow his lead but advises him to look for Cindy carefully. Tucker then tries to meet the models, hoping to sleep with one of them. However, the women just ignore him. Soon, he runs into Sarah Jean Underwood, the Playmate of the Year 2007. He greets her and later offers to take her adopted dog, Puddles, out to the lawn. While carrying the pet, he starts drawing the attention of one woman who drinks from her glass, unaware that the dog has urinated on it. Meanwhile, Eugene finally removes his fireman uniform. Suddenly, he spots Phil downstairs, prompting him to hide. Later, Eugene bumps into a bouncer and tries to ask where Cindy is, but he only grabs him and accuses him of stalking. Suddenly, he gazes to the side and finally sees his girlfriend with an older man. He tries calling her while being taken away, successfully getting her attention. Outside, Tucker is surprised. Upon realizing that Candace has tracked him down, she calls the attention of the firemen to chase after her boyfriend. In a state of panic, the man rushes into the mansion to find a place to hide. Eventually, he discovers himself in a room with the magazine's editor-in-chief, Hugh Hefner. Overwhelmed with admiration, he greets the old man, expressing that he is his most devoted fan. Hugh guides him toward the party outside, but as he reaches the door, he trembles, catching the editor's attention.
I'm here at the Playboy Mansion, and I'm still striking out.
Meanwhile, Eugene is brought to a room for questioning. Soon, Cindy arrives and hugs him, shocked that he has woken up. However, he confronts her for leaving him in the hospital bed while he was in a coma to pursue a modeling career. Simultaneously, Tucker confides in Hugh about his relationship with Candace. In response, the editor offers advice. Perplexed, Tucker inquires why Hugh is dating 7 women simultaneously. In response, the old man shows him the photo of Gertrude Van Brouwer, his childhood sweetheart who passed away at 18. He emphasizes the significance of holding on to that special someone, stating that even though he is involved with many women now, he would trade it all for one afternoon with the love of his life. Hugh continues expressing that there's a bunny deep inside every woman, and if Tucker can see that bunny in those women, then he's onto something. Upon hearing this, Tucker realizes that he's turning Candace into a bunny, and that's why she had a seizure during their night of intimacy. He admits that if she had just looked at his girlfriend as a bunny in the first place. Learning all of this, Hugh feels uncomfortable and decides to call security. Meanwhile, Eugene feels uneasy about Cindy's career choice, expressing concern that even if they get back together, he'll only think of the other men she has been with. In response, the model explains that she had always been there for him while he was in a coma, highlighting that she had to take the job to pay for his medical expenses. Cindy reveals that Eugene's father believed his son would never wake up and planned to move him to a Class D hospice. Upon hearing all this, Eugene is shocked that Tucker never mentioned anything. Suddenly, a bouncer interrupts their conversation, announcing that Hugh has ordered the stalkers to leave the mansion. As they are being taken away, Eugene confronts his friend for making him believe that Cindy has abandoned him. However, it turns out that the man never really knew about the woman's good deed because he was too preoccupied with his hobbies during his hospital visits outside. Candace orders Rick and the other firemen to put an end to her boyfriend before facing execution. Tucker apologizes to his girlfriend and confesses that he genuinely loves her despite her flaws, ultimately leading the couple to reconcile and share a kiss. Meanwhile, Phil confronts Eugene, but the man demands to be let go because he wants to talk to Cindy. However, the rapper only starts making inappropriate remarks, bringing up his romantic experience with a woman. Soon, Cindy arrives and humiliates Phil by exposing the truth about him, revealing that he doesn't have private parts. She directs the journalist's attention to the rapper, who had to leave because of the embarrassment. Shortly after, Eugene approaches Cindy, telling her he'll forget the past and focus on the present moment. After they kiss, he asks why she never called when he woke up. She then explains that she only calls every Monday, but he woke up on a Wednesday and immediately ran off with Tucker. Cindy says he should get new friends, but Eugene says he's okay with his childhood pal. Seeing the events on his TV, Hugh orders everyone to return to the mansion and proceed with the party. There, the duo reunites, and Tucker shares that things are going great with Candace, and that he could get an opportunity to be a photographer for the men's magazine. In response, Eugene excitedly shares that Cindy is waiting for him upstairs, mirroring the event at the after-prom party. Tucker then congratulates his friend, knowing he'll have his first experience in the mansion and with a model. The duo shares a toast for the new beginnings of their lives, and Eugene gets intoxicated again. He announces to everyone that he'll be having a night of intimacy and finally enters the right door. As he sleeps with Cindy, he overexerts himself, leading to a messy situation. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.